She was a cunning political powerhouse and one of Russia's most scandalous rulers.
Full of blood, lust, ambition, wars.
Her shocking personal life left a trail of scandalous rumors.
We definitely know she had 12 lovers, and some lists of her lovers go beyond that.
Catherine the Great, an empress who transformed 18th century Russia. Now on Biography. In 1762, Catherine seized the throne of the world's largest empire. Over the course of her 34-year reign, she guided Russia through 3 major wars, brutally suppressed peasant revolts, and boldly expanded the scope of her country's influence and power.
Catherine's reign saw the largest territorial expansion since the reign of Ivan the Terrible in the 16th century. And she was masterful at playing the game of great power politics against the other European nations.
From the moment she entered the royal Russian court at the tender age of 14, Catherine was determined to become a woman of consequence.
Catherine was somebody who, from very early on, was very conscious of creating sort of a legacy. She understood politics, and the role of what it meant to be a ruler was to try to make things better out of a sense of humanity with one's fellow citizens, with one's fellow Russians.
But little did she realize that her personal legacy would foster some of the most sensational stories of all time.
There's so much more drama. There's so much more at stake. There's blood, there's murder, and then there's the glitter of her court. There are wars. It's got everything that you would ever expect to make a great drama.
Not to mention a loveless, sexless marriage, illicit love affairs, and deadly international intrigue. Catherine the Great is the brilliant star of her own sensational life story.
She comes across as someone incredibly playful, incredibly fun. You can't help but fall under her spell. She's just an incredibly charming and endearing figure.
Catherine's quest for political power was matched by her insatiable desire for sexual satisfaction. As Catherine herself wrote,
"The trouble is that my heart is loath to be without love, even for a single hour."
Was she a serious intellectual or just a literary wannabe?
She's manipulating what it is she wants to be her legacy, and very careful about what she leaves to posterity.
Catherine excelled at being as calculating in affairs of the heart as she was in affairs of state. And she managed to secure a lover who was perfectly equipped to enhance her latest obsession, expanding Russian territory. In 1768, Catherine's army began years of war with the Ottoman Turks. The Russians were hell-bent on gaining access to the Black Sea coast. Gregory Potemkin was one of Russia's most brilliant generals, a key player in the expansion campaigns. Potemkin quickly became a member of Russia's ruling elite and the Empress's most trusted ally.
Potemkin was clearly, I think, the only lover she ever had, the only man she ever had, who in some ways was her equal. If you read Catherine's love letters, which I think are the most direct way to really get at who she was, the most honest sort of thing she ever wrote, she loved to come up with all sorts of pet names for Potemkin.
Sweetie, dear sweet lips, my life, my joy, my merriment. Lordykins, my precious dear, my golden pheasant, I love you with all my heart.
Their connection evolved from a peerless love affair to a potent political partnership.
Catherine's coming together with Potemkin and taking him for a lover, it was both driven by a personal attraction to Potemkin as well as the specific political situation in which she found herself.
Although Catherine was a pro at spinning her own positive image, she actually balked at the inclusion of the word great in her title. But historians beg to disagree. Many feel that she justly deserves the designation.
On one level, she was an incredibly ambitious, driven, calculating woman. And that is clearly part of her greatness. But there are these tender sides to her. There's this playful, humorous side. There's the intellectual side to her. There are so many different Catherines that it's hard to say exactly who she was, but that's part of her fascination.